What's really going on? Hello and welcome to Guy Talk. Before we get started, yes, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, share this video, and of course, comment on it if you wish. Okay, what is really going on? I know you see it. I know you feel it. This is different. None of what is happening is making any sense. Why are things that seem to be so obviously wrong and evil considered perfectly okay and acceptable to some people? Is this just politics as usual, or is there something else going on here? I've had a lot of people asking me that question. They sense it. They feel like something's off. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it is that we are dealing with. In Ephesians 6, verse 12, here's what it says. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities. What's a principality? Against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a little creepy. But here's the truth of the matter. It is literally talking about demons. It's talking about evil forces. It's talking about an enemy. We are dealing with a level of evil that we have not had to deal with at this level in the past. There is an enemy that is trying to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. In fact, I believe, for those of you who are wondering, that this is kind of like Satan's last stand. He's bringing out everything he can. He sees an opportunity here, and he's doing all that he can do. And of course, God's in control of all of it. But I think he's really trying to get those who are his, those who are spirit-filled, born-again Christians, to see what's going on and to see if they're going to reject or accept him and speak up for him during this time. And it really is scary for me to see so many people who call themselves Christians but are not speaking out. Let me give you a few examples of things that are clearly evil that people have been deceived by. First of all, I've talked about this a bunch, BLM Inc. There are a lot of good-hearted people who are all in on BLM. They think that it is the greatest thing in the world. It's deceiving because who's going to argue with the name of this organization, Black Lives Matter? I mean, it's very shrewd. It's very cunning to be called Black Lives Matter when the reality is they don't do anything for black people. They do nothing for black people. They're totally doing things that have nothing to do with black people. It's mind-boggling to me how obvious it is. They've come out and said it in writing, on their website, in their leaders' own words, their own admissions. They've told you they're into witchcraft, summoning spirits, into things that have nothing to do with BLM, destroying the family, everything that you as a Christian should be. You know, even if you're not a Christian, as a good person, you're against. Their core beliefs are completely opposite of what most people think, yet so many people have been deceived. They tell you they're trained Marxists. One of their goals is to destroy the nuclear family. Isn't that nice of them? And here's the thing. The root of all our problems today is fatherlessness. That's where the root, if we can solve the fatherlessness, we can solve the problem. But yet the whole goal of BLM is to destroy the nuclear family. Like it hasn't already been destroyed. Like it is, if you look at the statistics, it's so clear. Those living in a father and mother and kids in the home family are significantly better off than those that are living in a single family household. It destroys things. And yet marriage is considered, if you don't like it, get out. So many babies are born, to spouses who aren't even married. They're not even there. They're not present. And we think we have this is what everything that BLM is for. They want that. And look what it's caused. This should be so obvious, but there's evil at work here. So really, do you think destroying the nuclear family is the answer to our problems? I mean, come on, ask yourself some common sense questions. I'm appealing on this video to your discernment and your wisdom. I want you to think through things, not with your emotions, because I'm talking about, BLM. How dare he say anything against BLM? Don't be emotional, okay? Is that really what you want? The destruction of the family? You really think that's the answer to what's going on? No, of course it's not. Just look at how many, though, people are deceived. We've got athletes massively deceived, okay, coming out. We've got entire sports organizations massively deceived. We've got the media all in on this deception. Corporations being shook down for hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to an organization that nobody knows where the money's going. There's no accountability at all. A guy was just arrested in Atlanta for claiming to be a BLM organization, and he spent the money on houses and furniture. And you guys, legit organizations clearly tell you where their money is going. Why is nobody, not one whistleblower, not one concerned journalist, nobody has held them accountable? There's evil at work here. That is why. Okay? By the way, there's another lie that is also at its root evil. And I keep bringing these things up because they're when you really think about them, we've gotten to the point where, if somebody screams evil loud enough, after a while, the word evil doesn't bother you anymore. It doesn't have an impact on you. You get used to it. And that's what's happened, This whole abortion thing. How is it possible in anybody's mind that the murder of innocent babies in the womb is okay? How is it? How have you justified? I want you to think for a moment. Use your own logic that you've used to this point to get yourself to the point where you think the murder of innocent babies in the womb is anything other than evil. How have you justified it? Okay, you have justified it somehow, even to the point now where they're saying even if they're born and there's something wrong and they don't like what they're getting, you can go ahead through a discussion with you and your doctor, make a decision as to whether you want to keep that baby alive. That is murder. It is murder. There's got to be an evil thing happening here to deceive people to believe that. We are literally dealing with, here it is, okay? And I know this is creepy. We're dealing with demons, spirits, rulers of darkness. That's what we're dealing with. They're very shrewd, very deceptive. They get you to believe things that aren't true. Only one way to find out whether that's true or not. You need to come back to the source. You need to come back to God, and he will clearly make it clear to you about these deceptions. Here's another one. Kind of silly, but it's so true. Remember Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, the hands up, don't shoot thing? Even today, all these years later, there's people in the streets screaming, hands up, don't shoot. The entire narrative was a lie. It never happened, and yet we still, to this day, are talking about it like it is a real thing. Never happened. That's evil. And the people using it are evil. You're either evil or you're really, really ignorant. But at this point, ignorance is no excuse. At some point, it goes from ignorance to stupidity. Breonna Taylor, total lie. The truth is, she was not innocent. I don't care what the media tells you. An entire grand jury, 23 people, got in a room, looked at all the evidence, saw everything, talked to the witnesses. 23 people all said, no, the cops were right for what they did. They were charged with. So what happens? Everybody freaks out, goes to the streets. You got the lawyer, all these people out there freaking out. This is a guy that's supposed to believe in the system. Oh, we're being unfairly treated. No, you're not. It's a lie. Breonna Taylor is put out there as this innocent little EMT. Do you know that she's not been an EMT since 2017 and she got fired because she had a dead body in her car? If you were interested in really finding out the facts, you would understand. Do you realize they had a warrant, not just for the boyfriend, but for her as well? She was heavily involved in it. If you should be mad at anybody, you should be mad at the boyfriend for two reasons. When the police break into the house, both the boyfriend and Breonna are in the hallway, and the boyfriend was shooting. And when they get in there, the cops, of course, return fire. And who gets shot? Breonna. How come he didn't get shot? He's in the hallway. How come he didn't get shot? Yeah, think about it. They're in the hallway. You're shooting through a small hallway. He's there. I don't know this to be true, but in my mind, the only reason he didn't get shot is because that coward was using her as a shield. You should be so ticked off, those of you who are screaming and yelling about this innocent victim, Breonna. She wasn't. Oh, but of course, the Attorney General, the one who's bringing down the issue in Louisville, Kentucky, is a Republican. He's black, but he's a Republican, so you turn on him. This has nothing to do with the color of skin. It's all ideology. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. It's ideology. It's not color. But yet you want to turn it into a race thing. It has nothing to do with race. Nothing. The whole narrative is wrong. A grand jury has already determined it. But no, you're not going to accept anything other than what you want. Whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. All the race baiters get out on TV, scream and yell about how unjust everything is, and they keep you in the streets, they keep you angry, they keep your emotions all riled up, and the facts don't matter. That's evil working. Evil's been working through guys like Al Sharpton forever, pretending to be one thing, but the truth is he's entirely another. I don't understand why it's not so obvious to you after all these years. Why are you allowing that to occur in your communities? Put yourself in the cop's shoes. You're getting shot at, you're not going to shoot back? Of course you're going to shoot back. There's evil forces at work here. That's what's going on. The entire narrative that blacks are targeted by cops is a lie. I know that a white guy is not supposed to tell you that, but it is a bold-faced lie. It is not true. If you want the facts, look them up. It's not that complicated to find out that cops do not target blacks. It's not true. Based on the percentage of the population, they do not unfairly target blacks. What they target is crime. That's what they're supposed to target. More whites are killed by cops than blacks every year. And there's way more whites. Of course, they're going to be killed by more. If anything, it's the opposite because they're so worried about the stigma of what's going on out there. They're given even more of a break. And the stats prove it. Oh, but I'm not supposed to let facts get in the way. I understand that. This isn't about color. Anybody who does their homework can look it up. You're an adult. Please stop believing what everybody's telling you. Go look it up. It's clear to find it out there. There's plenty of people in the black community that are trying to feed the information to you, but you won't listen. You say, oh, their opinions are skewed. Why? Their opinions aren't skewed. There's tons of great black leaders who happen to be conservative that are trying to get you to exit the evil Democrat Party. That's really what it is. They're trying to get you to exit and see the light, but you won't even listen to them. Why will you not listen to them? Forget what I'm saying. I know you're not going to listen to me, but why would you not listen to Candace Owens and Larry Elder? And man, there's so many great leaders that are coming up with all this great information. The Officer Tatum's doing a great job. I don't understand. You just dismiss them out of hand. Meanwhile, how is it helping you? How is it ultimately helping you? It's not. You've got to stop being so completely controlled by your emotions and let facts speak for you. This is that out of control emotion that compels people to get out in the streets and do crazy things like loot, steal, set things on fire, hurt cops, hurt people. Do you realize there's a mentality? It's called a mob mentality. You get out there with a group of people, you end up doing things you would never do if you were out there by yourself, but you do it with a mob because you think the mob's all in on it. Stop it. I'm telling you to stop it because the Democrat leaders won't, because they want that to happen because of power. They think that's going to help them in an election. The opposite is true. This is pure evil. There should be a national all-in protest against all of what's going on. Yet most people remain silent. Why is that? It's because evil forces are involved. People are afraid. Ooh, they're afraid to speak out. because corporations, etc., will come down on them. Finally, the other day on TV, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal both supported cops. And all the crazies on the left went nuts because they actually supported cops. They see what's going on. I know you see it too. Some of you, your spidey senses are going off. This isn't right. Something's evil. Something's not right here. And finally, they speak out, which was how dare they? National media guys. If you listen to ESPN, they talk about it like there is no other side. It's all perfectly okay. BLM, all this evil stuff that's going on, is completely justified. The NBA, the NFL, garbage. All of it. Politicians allow it to happen in their cities, and then they make excuses for it. The media calls it peaceful protests. There's a guy on TV saying everything's largely peaceful, and behind him, everything's on fire. People are letting off fireworks, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's largely peaceful. How about you just stop it instead of being controlled by evil that is at work here? Now, I could go on forever with several more examples, okay? So, you're wondering, is it going to get better? The truth is, it's probably not. Of course, God is in control. And what will happen is what God will allow to happen. And nobody knows what that's going to be. I believe he's trying to teach Christians a lesson here about coming directly back to him and not being controlled by these evil forces. I know one thing for sure, though. God's in control. And if Christians would continue to pray and ask God for mercy, because that's what it's going to take. He's going to have to be merciful. Maybe it gets better, but I think you need to be prepared that it doesn't. Your head better be on a swivel. You better be prepared. What I mean by prepared, I may do another future podcast on that. But if you think the evil people in the streets are going to stop, I'm telling you right now, they are not going to stop unless somebody stops them. They're not going to stop unless somebody stops them. And if Joe Biden gets elected, Kamala Harris will be your president. And she's whacked out of her mind. And the stuff in the street is going to get way worse. She couldn't even get 1% when she was running for president. This is so obvious. This is why we can't let this happen. We just can't. Doesn't look like it's going to stop to me. I don't know what it looks like to you. I'd love to hear your comments about it. What do you think could happen with all this evil going into the wrong, when all these evil people go into the wrong neighborhoods? That's what's going to happen. They're starting to go into people's neighborhoods. They're coming up on people while they're eating, interrupting their meal. Listen, we've already seen a little bit of this. There's been a little bit of patriots saying enough is enough, and they've gone out, and we've seen people get killed. It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Unless somebody returns to a semblance of good and stops being controlled by this evil force that's going on. Because they're not going to stop. Look at how they're coming up to people, you guys, in restaurants. They're going to come up to the wrong people. And people are going to get shot. People are going to get killed. It's going to be an all-out crazy thing going on. It's all going to be on tape. People are going to know exactly what happened. I got news for you. If I'm sitting at a restaurant with my wife and somebody just comes, sits at my table, starts drinking my drinks and interfering with my meal and intimidating me and threatening me, it's going to be a bad day. I'm going to ask the guy, please punch me. Please punch me. Please take your hands and punch me so that I can stop the threat. I just want you guys to know that people are pissed off. They're not going to take it anymore. There's way more people are pissed off about what's going on than not. That's why I think November 3rd is going to be a landslide. People are ticked off. You think that we're going to sit back and take this? No, that's not what America's about. We're not going to take it. That's for sure. This is what happens when good and evil clash. We need to pray and hope that God has mercy on us. So what do you think? Has Guy missed the mark on this one? Comment about it. Share this video with people. Subscribe, hit the bell. Until next time, God bless you and your family.